If you want a lot of stabbing and sniffing, this is the episode for you.
Ooh, I do not like the way you said that.
What, you don't like stabbing and sniffing?
No.
Star Wars, Transformers, Godzilla, animation, whatever else. Rebels, robots, and etc.
Well, it's Wednesday night, and Cameron and Rachel are hanging out once again, which must mean it's Starformers Zillimation night. Welcome to Rebels and Robots and etc., episode 57. I'm Cameron.
I'm Rachel.
And this is our bi-weekly chat about Star Wars and...
Transformers.
And animation and whatever else we both like to talk about. Last week, I kind of shut one down, and I realized it would seem like we were both interested in it, but now I'm trying to remember what it was. What was it? Dang. There was a movie or a show that came up last week that it seemed as though we're both interested in, but I cannot. Dang it. I thought it would come to me as I talked about it, because I just listened to the episode yesterday. If it comes up, I will try to recall. But anyways, we talk about whatever we're both interested in on this podcast. Right now, one of the main elements, the Rebels of the Rebels and Robots, Star Wars. Talking to the new Star Wars show, The Acolyte, this week, episode 4 and 5. And that's the main gist of this episode. Of course, we always start with recent news and thoughts. Do you have any news this week?
I don't.
No news. It's been pretty slow on news. I think now that we're hitting a year after the writers and actors strike, there's a lot less things coming out in the foreseeable future. So there's not a ton of news. I was talking with a friend recently about like what is next for Star Wars and outside for Star Wars outside of Skeleton Crew, there's nothing definitive. Like
Andor season 2.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. And Andor season 2. Yeah, outside of those two things.
Oh, I actually did see news about Andor season 2. I'm a liar. I just didn't take a screenshot of it.
Okay.
I just forgot his name. See what happens when I don't take screenshots.
Oh, they're bringing back the villain from Rogue One. Is that it? Yeah. The actor's name is Ben Mendelsohn.
Yes, Ben Mendelsohn.
And the character's name is
Orson Krennic.
So
they're going to be bringing him back, which is interesting because we'll be curious to see if he and Cassian ever interact or if it's just like, man, we just can't catch this guy.
I Google searched Transformers news, and the top article is, these Transformers sequels are, man, they're a lot. That sums up our whole summer.
I think they stole one of our episode titles.
But yeah, Krennic, I mean, it seems like a stretch. But also, he might not be involved with Andor. Like, I'm thinking, if he's directly interacting with Andor, like, they don't have any connection. That's what
I just said. It'll be interesting to see if he ever interacts with Cassian.
And I said it was a stretch, and it seemed like you were looking at me like I was crazy.
Well, I thought you said it was a stretch to bring back Krennic for the Andor show.
I meant like to include him. I was agreeing with you.
Oh,
like it seems like there's. I'm trying to think of an example. I feel like sometimes in prequels they will like the Hobbit prequels are probably the most infamous for
never actually seen the Hobbit.
The way the Hobbit prequels bend over the movies bend over, because the original Hobbit book came out before Lord of the Rings, but the Hobbit movies are prequels to Lord of the Rings movies, and so they bend over backwards to include characters who were not in the Hobbit or to reference them just for the sake of having them.
Well, Andor season 2 is going to be spanning over a couple of years. It's like 3 episodes, jump, 3 episodes, jump, 3 episodes, jump. So if he's towards the end, it's going to make sense because he'd be the director of the Death Star.
Well, I see that's what was from Andor's storyline. That's not going to necessarily interact with the Death Star until like the last second. Like that is happening elsewhere. Like those two characters wouldn't, like, it's kind of like how you can't have any like Force users in Han Solo's stories because he didn't believe in the Force.
Anakin meeting General Grievous for 7 seasons of a show.
So they almost can't interact. But then
it'll be interesting to see the lead up.
Sure, he's either going to be totally isolated, or what is interesting to me is he's interacting with Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma.
That actually isn't. That would be fascinating.
He actually interacts with Cyril.
If Cyril somehow ends up working for him, that actually would be really engaging.
Somehow.
But yeah, now that I think about it, I kind of, when I think about Andor, I sometimes kind of forget that there's other storylines outside of Andor himself. And you obviously have the whole Imperial storyline.
I think a lot about Andor.
So it does actually make sense that you can have these like storylines that do not directly interact with our main heroes. Because like, for example, you've got Saul Guerrera in there, and he's not interacting with Andor either. So there's certainly space for that. It was just my immediate reaction.
I do actually have a funny story. So I was doing some house and babysitting earlier this week, and I'm not gonna post this picture online, but I'm just gonna read it. It was a picture that one of the kids had written for their summer plans, and it's a list. And they have like boxes for check marks for whenever it's done. And two of them caught my eye. The first one on the list is buy Star Wars Lego sets. And then farther down the list is play Jedi Survivor. And if that's not a good summer, I don't know what is. I just got such a kick out of it. Very good. Like very relatable. Which then also made me go, are they old enough to play Jedi Survivor?
Ooh, that's a good point.
It's not inherently inappropriate by any means. I was just like, I think it's like a plus 17 game.
Yeah.
I guess if you turn off dismemberment, it's not that bad.
Sure.
But also, kids have seen Jedi cutting apart stormtroopers before. It's no big deal.
It's Jedi Survivor, right?
Yeah. Which is the second Cal Kestis game. Which then is like, they played Fallen Order?
It only has a 6 out of 10 on Steam. That's surprising.
Well, some people had a lot of issues with it, performance-wise. I never had any issues outside of the very occasional frame drop, but it would go back to normal afterward.
Sure. I cannot find the rating on this thing. That's surprising.
Actually, I enjoyed it far more than Fallen Order. I think they made a lot of good quality of life changes with mechanics that I really enjoyed.
It's actually T for teen.
Oh.
It's for teens, no adults allowed.
I'm young at heart.
Who knows if this headline's at all true, but Transformers 1 runtime revealed gladiator scene was cut. Which is a bummer. If that's true.
That is a bummer. That's a very integral part of Megatron's canonical past.
Yeah, this says it's currently set to only be 90 minutes.
That's not terrible for an animated movie.
Yeah, just like considering that they're trying to tell an origin story of the Transformers.
It's a trilogy.
Like you need a little more time, but like they're cutting scenes though. So it seemed like they were probably originally promised more time.
Probably because they're like,
No one's gonna go see an animated Transformers film.
Now, it is possible it was cut like during the scripting phase. Like sometimes they'll say cut. Cut can mean so many different things.
Well, considering it also seems to be an entirely new continuity, they might be changing things.
Oh, sure. Let me see what thoughts I've had. We had something. I'm trying to remember when this happened. We have a second example in Acolyte of okay. So we have our classic people falling into a hole infinitely, and then sometimes we're disappointing when someone ends up surviving. But now we have a parallel thing.
Wait, are we talking about this? We got to get into episode 5 first.
Well, this happened in episode 3, and we didn't talk about it.
Oh.
Because in episode 3 is when, after I get the twins of this show mixed up so much, May falls into the hole, and they think she's dead.
Oh.
And it's almost identical to what happened to the woman from the Acolyte, not the Acolyte, the Monarch show, the scientist woman.
Oh,
who
Kiko.
Yes. Like, it's so similar of a character falls in a hole at chronologically at the beginning of the show in a flashback and then turns out to be alive much later on. It's a major plot point. It's almost identical. So we have this like parallel running thing now of characters falling down holes, thought to be dead, turn out to be survived. Also, you and I have been, I don't know how much you've played, but you've played a little bit at least of Star Wars Hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you playing on your phone or on your Switch?
Phone.
I think it'd be a lot better on the Switch.
Me too, but I have insane Joy-Con drift.
Yikes.
I need to get them fixed or I need to get new Joy-Cons because
Yeah.
it actually makes playing my Switch impossible.
I can see that. Yeah. Do you have any impressions, thoughts on Star Wars Hunters?
It's okay. I'm not really a big fan of like the team versus team
Sure.
style gameplay. I prefer to play on my own and not be annoyed by anyone else. Overall, it's easier than I thought it was going to be. I
Sure.
kind of like that you can automatically fire because
Yeah.
when I was looking at the premise, I was like, gosh, it's going to be a nightmare for controls. I haven't actually lost a match, which is nice.
How have you actually started playing online with real people, you think? What you have? Like, what level are you at?
Like 3.
You have not started playing. The game.
Yes, I have.
No, the game makes you think you're playing online with people, but you're actually not.
That's gross. So even though I'm out of the tutorial,
you still technically are. It doesn't make it very obvious.
That does not make me want to play.
I found it more fun once you actually got to playing online with actual people who were a lot better than the computer. It's a very bizarre thing. I don't play a lot of these kind of games, so I don't know how they normally go, but the first 5 levels, it does not make it obvious. It does not tell you this, but you are playing against bots. It makes you think you do all the steps of playing online, but it's actually channeling you into a game that's only bots. And I had the exact same experience. I was like, this game is too easy. These people are too terrible. And I started to think about it. I was like, I was able to pause the game and I realized, oh, this is not actually online.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And so I wish it was a little more upfront about the fact. I think what it's trying to do is trying to lure people into thinking. Like, I think there's a benefit to learning how to play before you go online, but maybe it shouldn't be tricking people into thinking that they're really good before they actually go online.
Like I said, that does not make me want to play TVH.
I do enjoy playing against real humans a lot more, because that's the way the game is designed. There's no sort of like chat element.
I'm okay with that.
Which makes it feel like I'm actually playing against just what are intelligent bots who can make mistakes, but also be intelligent and not actually be good at what they're doing. So, and because the game is so new, it has a very active community as of right now. Like, I have no trouble finding matches. I've enjoyed the game. It is, a lot because it's free, so I'm not paying anything. It's easy to pick up a match.
For now.
Yes, that's so true.
For now.
It's easy to pick up a match. As I've played the characters more and more, I've found a greater variety of the characters to be fun. Since we last podcasted, I unlocked J3DI, which looks like Jedi. He's a droid. I think the joke is that he thinks he's a Jedi. I think that's the joke of the character. It would make sense
because I'm not sure what Jedi would actually join Gladiator-esque game for money.
It says, custom built to provide an authentic Jedi experience. J3DI comes with iconic blue lightsaber, database of Jedi wisdom, simulated force ability. So one of his abilities is that he doesn't have like force pull. He like Inspector Gadget can like extend his hand really far and you pull people to you, which is very annoying when it's done to you, but it's very fun to do to other people. And the conviction that he's the real thing. Fans that doubt a droid can be a Jedi may soon be convinced otherwise when they see him fight in the arena. He is able to like deflect blaster bolts with the lightsaber, which seems like something that would not be something that is inherent to a lightsaber, but requires the Force. But also, I don't think this game is trying to be totally lore accurate.
Yeah.
But I at first did not like playing as J3DI, but as I got the handle for his abilities, I enjoy him. I've also unlocked Skora, who is the same species as Greedo. And he has a rifle that has very long range but low damage, but his bullets heal your teammates. And I've found I like the high accuracy, and he moves really fast, and I found that character very fun as well. Two things that have really made me enjoy the game. One, as all things on your phone are these days, they're designed to hijack dopamine. I don't know exactly the word, it's meant to trick your brain into releasing as much dopamine as possible. Mm-hmm. And there are so many quote unquote challenges in the game of complete 5 matches or get 20 kills as this character, that almost every time you end a match, you're getting all of these challenges unlocked. So you get out of a match and you're just getting waves and waves of good job, you did it, point sounds and points, and you're getting, and all of the as again with most mobile games, you have 2 different kinds of currency. There's credits and kyber crystals. Mm-hmm. So far I've had 0 use for them because there are very few things that you can actually buy with the credits. It's all cosmetics, but they're cosmetics for characters I have not unlocked. Mm-hmm. And anything that you can buy with kyber crystals is way too many kyber crystals that I've only unlocked 295 so far, and it hasn't been useful for anything. But nonetheless, it's just fun to end a game and have all of it, you're seeing all the stuff you've unlocked. Mm-hmm. You've unlocked rewards, experience points, or money, or you might have unlocked a cosmetic for a character, or you might have unlocked a new character. It's very base level, primal enjoyment, but I like it. The other thing that really increased my enjoyment for it is they do events. And the event for this last weekend was a game mode where you only play as the Wookiee. But and every character has a charging ultimate that you're only going to be able to use a couple times a match. And the Wookiee's ultimate is he just throws a gigantic rock. Mm-hmm. But in this game type, your ultimate recharged really quickly. Oh. So the whole point of the game is you're throwing rocks, and I had a blast. It was so fun. So the fact that they're being a little more creative with these event game types will make me want to check in on occasion and see how the game has developed over time, because theoretically, if a game like this is successful, they want it to go on. Mm-hmm. Obviously they create something like this, they want it to be like Fortnite, which has been going on for years. I don't see this having that longevity, but that means they probably have some plans to update it as time goes on.
With stuff.
So as a free game that you can play at almost any time, I recommend it. I don't know if I'd be playing it if it wasn't Star Wars. If the Star Wars skin goes along, if it was it was just generic sci-fi characters, I probably wouldn't play it. And at first, it kind of felt like this is barely even Star Wars to begin with. But as you played it more and more, it kind of started to feel. It reminded me of Battlefront. Mm-hmm. It took me back to playing Battlefront, which is one of my favorite video games. Period. So all that to say, I recommend it. I had a good time playing it. I'll probably continue to play it. At least some.
Nice.
And I would like for us to have a chance to play together a little bit to see if it's fun. Maybe we play with Allison.
Oh yeah, does she play?
No, but I could get her on it really easily. I think she would enjoy it maybe. And yeah, so do you have anything else you want to talk about before we go on to the Acolyte? Okay, so the Acolyte episode 4 day. Not a ton of plot. It's a lot of exposition, would you say?
I really have any notes from either episode, actually. I forgot to take notes.
Pretty much, they're just deciding to go hunt down. They somehow figure out that most likely
May is going to Kalnaka, or going to go find Kalnaka.
I guess it's pretty logical. She's okay, we know who May is now. We know who the killer is now. She's going after the Jedi who were there that day. She's killed 2. She's not coming after Saul, so they must be going after Kalnaka. So they're going to go find Kalnaka.
Saul.
Who did I say?
Saul.
Oh, Soul. Right. Yeah, not Saul, the original name of Paul from the Bible, but
Saul.
yes.
You said soul.
Did I really?
You did.
Saul and Soul and Soul and Saul. I'm just going to continue to say them interchangeably just for fun. And at first, Osha doesn't want to come. Oshi, everyone's favorite Star Wars character, Oshi, doesn't want to go. And then
Occupational Safety Hazard
what changes her
Association.
mind? Do you remember?
Nope.
We watched this episode a week ago.
Soul asks her to come, and the Jedi
okay.
don't want her to come except for Soul.
Yeah, and actually, this reminds, because I'm looking at it right now, that actually is one of the more interesting moments for Oshi is when Soul, is it Soul or Soul?
It's Soul.
Soul, like a human soul, S-O-U-L.
No, S-O-L.
I know how he spells it, like pronunciation.
Oh, yes.
S-O-U-L. Soul
like the soul of your
says, I want you to come with me. And she's like, you want me to come back?
Yeah, like as a Jedi.
Yeah, and then she realized, oh, you want me because I can help with it. Like, I am so interested to figure out what exactly happened. I think it's really artificial hype or artificial intrigue that they're keeping all this information from us. Mm-hmm. But that is honestly the thing I want to know the most is what the heck happened that she's not a Jedi anymore.
Yep.
Because she seems to really want to be one. My assumption was she left.
Yeah.
So that reaction really complicates that. It makes me interested in actually learning about what the heck happened. Which probably means we're going to have another flashback episode after this. After episode 5, there's only 3 episodes left. And one of them is probably a flashback episode.
That shows the whole event outside of just her POV.
Yeah, and then probably shows what they did, both characters since then. Also,
I almost wonder, if they're both wrong.
I think that's going to be the case. I'm hoping that's the show's final message is that neither the extreme view on light and dark side of the Sith and the Jedi are accurate and that it's embodied in this event.
Maybe they become disenchanted and just disappear into the universe. Because that's easy to do in Star Wars for the most part.
Yeah, disenchanted. I think.
Yeah.
I think you mean a slightly different word. Like disenchanted, I think is it's a funny word in this context. Like I guess because Disenchanted was the name of the Enchanted sequel. Is why
I
it's
meant
funny.
Disillusioned.
Disillusioned. There you go.
Whatever.
But Disenchanted is funny though.
Well, I can't say anything on this podcast I get made fun of.
That Disenchanted is also the name of a show on Netflix. Well, you know what? You're not super far off. Disenchantment is a feeling of disappointment about something or someone you previously respected or admired, which is pretty. It's in disillusionment, so they're synonyms. So you're right. I assumed it meant like removing the magic of something.
Oh no.
But anyways, in this scene that we're talking about between Soul and May, in the background we have a little character here that you had a very fun reaction when you realized he was there. So this is a Tarlafar, who is the species of the little guy Bairn that we saw
From Bad Batch.
Bad Batch, and you just were excited. You got really excited
because the last one we saw was like in Solo. This is like the third appearance of the species. He's cute.
They are very cute, and it was fun to see a live action one because you can do whatever you want with animation.
I think he was practical.
No, I was saying is like we saw him animate a species of this. An example of the species animated in Bad Batch, but to see one in live action is a little more fun.
Was it animated in Solo?
No, it was probably live action as well. Yeah.
Well, Solo was live action.
Yeah, it was probably like a practical effect. But then we just get a lot of this episode is just people walking through the forest. You have May and Chimere walking through the forest, talking,
yapping,
just I feel like they're just reiterating a lot of information we already know, like as if people were just dropping on this episode, and then she just fairly unexpectedly decides to betray him because May's alive, because Osha's alive, and leaves him. So her plan then becomes to turn herself into Konaka so that she can then be returned to the Jedi and be with her sister. Which is an unexpected turn for her.
Yeah.
Shows that she has a little more humanity, that she's not as knowing that things went differently than she knew previously. it means that her heart is not so dark as we may have thought, which is something you said you didn't want to happen. But
I don't think everyone needs redemption. Character-wise, I'm not speaking out of the actual humanity side of it. I just mean like, I don't think all fictional villains need to be pitied. I think sometimes they can just be terrible, and that's fine.
Yes. And I think that's where they're going with the Sith Lord, who we'll talk about in a moment. Or we don't know if he's a Sith Lord exactly, but the dark side user.
I mean, that's what he calls himself.
Previously known as Darth Teethies.
Yeah, Darth Teethies.
I think it's as much as May's motivations are a little unclear, because she's kind of a blank slate of a character, in my opinion. Her being very clearly motivated by revenge for her sister. The moment, at least having some time to think about her sister being alive, she changes her mind on what her motivations are. Which then is in line with her character, is what I'm saying. So I think that all works for me. But was still a surprising character moment. So it was both surprising and also consistent with the character. Oftentimes, in order to be surprising, writers will have characters do things that are entirely outside their personality or previous motivations. So I appreciate something that's a surprise, but also makes sense. Though I am a little surprised she didn't just kill Kamir. Is it Kamir? Is that right? Chimere. Obviously she couldn't, knowing what we know now, but it just feels strange to leave someone alive. I guess it would be kind of very heartless.
I don't know, because I mean, I feel like if you think about it, I feel like she's kind of had this weird uncertainty about killing in general.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably true.
Like, I think if she was an in and out killing, she's trying to get them to admit what they've done. Like, she's trying to get them to speak about it before she actually kills them. But even with her conversations with Chimere, because Chimere kept reiterating, you got to do this, you got to do this. I don't know, I feel like she had some definite uncertainty in it.
That's fair. And it makes sense that she would be very driven to kill the people that she holds responsible for the death of her family.
Well, granted,
but
with
not
her,
other people.
Probably with her sister being alive, that might have taken the wind out of her sails too.
That's a good point. That's totally fair. And then do we want to talk about the introduction of a particular character that you also find annoying or just unpleasant to look at and see him move?
Yeah,
do anything?
I think he's like CGI and practical.
Yeah.
His name is Basil. He is their tracker.
He's like a little rodent man.
I just don't like looking at him.
He's mugging a lot for the camera. There's a lot of close-ups on him sniffing. That was in the intro we talked about sniffing and stabbing. He's the sniffer. He's doing a lot of sniffing.
I just don't like the way he looks. I think it's because part of it is practical, that I don't feel like his face moves too much, but also not enough.
Yeah.
It's only like, it's the practical part that sniffs. That's like the only thing that moves. And it's a little uncanny.
Yeah. You can always tell when something is like the body is practical, but the face is CGI. There's always like a gradual change from the CGI face into the practical like head. And you can't quite see a seam, but you can see it kind of like when you have an animatronic and it's like mostly hard, but there's like a rubbery part. That's the only part that moves. It's kind of like that. You can see when it gradually becomes rubber into like hard plastic.
It's like a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare. Especially because he just randomly screams.
And the other element introduced in this episode is these big bug things.
So there's something moths.
Yeah.
Luna moth? No.
Do you remember what they're attracted to?
Light.
The light of the lightsabers.
So like moths.
Right. Mothman.
Typical moth. L. We actually Googled this just recently at a dinner party with some friends, and we were trying to figure out why are moths attracted to light. And so apparently moths, it's not quite as true in the next episode, as we'll see, but moths have a natural instinct to turn their back to the light when they fly.
Okay.
And so the thing is that if you have like a circular light bulb or something, as they fly, you know, they try to keep their back to the light.
Interesting.
You're looking at me like I'm making this up.
No, I'm waiting for the point. Like, why are they flying with their back to the light? That seems
That's
counterintuitive.
just their natural thing. It's their natural thing to fly with their backs to like the sun.
Oh, okay. So they can't distinguish between the sun.
Yes, that is correct.
Because there's very few naturally occurring lights outside
It helps
the
them
sun.
determine which way is up.
I see.
So it helps them.
But then they're also attracted to the light.
I believe that is it's like that is like the end because it like helps them fly level.
Yeah.
So say if you have a light like I'm using a very visual thing. I'm holding my phone flashlight vertically, pointing to the side. So if like you have a moth that has the instinct to keep its back to the light, it's hitting the light because it's kind of circular, so it just kind of ends up looping.
I see. Welcome to our cryptid hunting podcast.
Moths?
Today we're talking about hunting Mothman.
So moths are not cryptids, contrary to
Mothman
popular
is.
belief.
We're going to hunt down because we talked about cryptids a lot with this episode because at least episode 5 with how Darth Teethies, the way he comes in and out and disappears, he's very cryptid-esque.
Not to be confused with Athena. Darth
Yeah,
Teethies.
the other cryptid that we know personally. Oh, she's staring at me.
It's because we said her name. She looked up.
I can only see one eye that's staring right into my soul.
She's not stupid. She knows her name. Don't you, Athena?
So while they're trudging through the space swamp here, Osha says something to... Okay, so the younger Jedi, who is...
Jackie?
Sol's new apprentice, Jackie.
Actually, the term is Padawan.
And Jackie replies to her something like, "It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to see something transform into the Force." I think we just reacted to the use of transform. I think
Yeah.
it's
Well, no, it was also no because it's like the way she was talking was like it's always a pleasure to see something become one with the Force or whatever, and it's like. Jackie, do you watch people die?
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. It was her character is kind of like unfeeling in the way she says things. Like, it's always a pleasure to watch something transform into the Force. Whoa! Serial killer energy.
Jackie, normally that means death.
So May betrays... Man, I cannot get this Chimere, thank you. And goes and...
Cameron tried to read Challenge Impossible.
I don't have it in front of me. I'm not reading. I'm trying to remember the Cameron Challenge. That's
Cameron tried to remember names of characters.
Okay, so while I'm thinking about it, this is prevalent. It's probably been prevalent the whole show, but it's been especially prevalent both of these episodes. The show will do an establishing shot in the middle of a scene. Like, it will transition out of a sequence, do an establishing shot, and come back and no time has passed. And I've seen this as a very common criticism online is the bad pacing of this show. It is truly bizarre.
Yeah, the pacing is very interesting.
I definitely get a sense that this was originally intended to be a movie. It just, the way that it kind of is, like, there's not a lot of logic to the way episodes end.
And the jumps.
The weird editing of every individual episode. This would make a lot more sense as a film. And that makes me kind of bummed because...
Same big Kenobi energy, too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I just I really want to see Star Wars in theaters again with something that was shot to be in theaters. And because then what I would assume is the budget of this show is probably effectively the budget of a movie.
180 million, I think.
And so I'd rather see that budget consolidated down into making 2 hours rather than however long this show is. The budget would be better spent in that time.
4 hours, I think, if it's 30 minutes per 8 episodes.
Yeah, that's about right. So you could effectively double the budget for the amount of time that you'd be doing, which would be closer to 2 hours. And you'd just be able to watch it all as one thing and be able to experience it in theaters and be really locked in. We know, at least Netflix is really notorious for wanting things shot in such a way that it looks best on a phone and it's easy to pay attention to, not necessarily visually interesting. And we have to assume Disney Plus is probably doing something similar. And also they're being written in such a way that they're doing a bad job, but at least they're intended to be written so that it makes sense as an individual episodes. You wouldn't have to worry about that. But these are all very obvious things to say, but reasons why this show might be not as good as it could have been if it were indeed intended to be a movie.
Well, and one thing I was talking with I have some friends who at the dinner party who watch Star Wars. Also, one of you listens to the podcast. You know who you are. Thank you. Appreciate that. Something I brought up like 6 months ago, and then casually they're like, yeah, I've listened. And I was like, oh, thank you. Anyways, they'd asked my thoughts, and I was like, I feel like or like Disney, it's like they're still trying to get their hold on how to write shows.
Yeah.
It's like they're still trying. I think that's what you said. It's like, oh, well, write Star Wars, and maybe they're writing it in the style of a movie, and then just like putting it into split up episodes. It's really kind of like, I mean, I don't hate the show by any means. I think there's some definite fun moments. I don't think it deserves the vitriol it's getting online, but we're not going to get into that.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. But I think I don't know. It's like they started off really strong, and then it's like COVID tanked
absolutely.
quite a bit of. I don't know if they just lost all their like TV show writers, or it's like the directors they're taking have like done movies, but not quite shows. And I think it's super important because, I don't know, I feel dumb saying this. Shows are different than movies. Like that's how it works. There's different runtime, different writing. And so I just feel, because like, I think seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian were fantastic. Andor was great. Like Rebel, it's like they knew. I think one of the things that some of the shows struggle with is they're like, oh, we have this big reveal, we have this big thing we want to talk about, we have this one big plot point, and then when it actually comes out to filling the rest of the show outside of like the big major points, it's like it falls flat. Yeah. It almost feels like so what do we do to fill time?
Absolutely.
That's what I was trying to get at. All that rambling for that.
Like it was intended to be 2 hours. It's now 4 hours, and they don't know how to fill out the extra 2 hours, so they're just killing time.
Did this start filming before COVID?
No, definitely not. I don't even think they announced it until like 21 or 22.
Oh, I think it was like right after COVID. We were like, woo, because the logo was different.
Oh yeah,
the logo was burnt.
Yeah,
very, very Anakin on Mustafar.
But anyways, let's get through the end of this episode, because episode 5 is a lot more fun to talk about. Episode 4, pretty much the last few minutes, May finds Kelnucka slashed through the chest.
Yeah, she comes in and he's sitting in his chair and he's already dead. He's been killed by a lightsaber.
Which is incredibly disappointing, because the one thing I said, like the one exciting thing that I said I was excited for when we last recorded, was that I wanted to see this Wookiee Jedi in action. And we still may get that in a flashback. But man, it felt like a lot of build up for this character, and just to kill him.
And someone tweeted the writer of that episode 4, who is CK Keichel? I don't know. And so someone said, Desert Daddy on Twitter, verified, says, and we never got a chance to see the Wookiee Jedi fight. Shame on you. And so the writer said, unfortunately, not everything gets to be included for budget and story reasons. We had an early draft that showed his fight and death scene, but it ultimately broke the POV of the episode in a way that I think wouldn't have worked as well.
Yeah.
Which, I was actually very caught off guard.
Yeah.
When she walked into the hut and she comes around the corner and he's dead from a lightsaber. I remember being like, oh, whoa.
Yeah. It would have been very weird because it's a reveal that the Dark Lord is even there, and so it would have been very weird to the way this plot is structured to reveal him beforehand. Now, what you could have done is they really, I think, it would have detracted from the big lightsaber fight that happens in episode 5. Because I think the power of that is that we haven't really had any fighting like that up to that point. If you have another fight before then, it doesn't work but then just don't kill him. I think you let Kalnaka be part of the big fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't need that. It's kind of cool to see May's reaction to realizing that Darth Teethies is there. Like that's a pretty decent bit of acting. But it's really not. I didn't put the character in there. It wasn't like we saw a random Wookiee and I got excited. It was, you have been setting up a Wookiee Jedi, and man, I think you could have very easily put him in the battle.
Yeah.
And it would have been the same. Like the plot nothing would have changed other than the fact that we get to see a Wookiee in battle, and it would have been great. But regardless, the Jedi all show up to try to arrest May, right? Is that what happens?
Yes.
And then so you have Osha standing there, right? And behind her,
he floats down, which is so unnerving.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the thing happening out of focus in the background shots.
So one thing I wanted to talk, I believe Star Wars Culture posted it. If I can find it, they had some interesting quotes from the creators. We can move on because I'll find it eventually. My Twitter is full of people thirsting over Chimere.
So Darth Teethies walks up to Osha, turns on his lightsaber. All the other Jedi turn on their lightsabers. We have a variety of blue and green and yellow. There's actually 3 Jedi here with yellow.
Temple guards?
I mean, they're not in Temple Guard outfits.
Well, it's also 100 years.
But also, why would you send Temple Guards on a mission like this?
Because they're guards.
And then Teethies just like flicks his wrist and Osha goes flying. Very cool. This guy is very chilling. He does a big force push on all the Jedi, and that's the end of the episode. I'm such a sucker for cliffhangers. I love a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, it ended and we went, wait! We both had very audible responses,
I was so
actually.
Pissed, but it was cool. And it did build hype for the next episode. Whether artificial or not, it did legitimately build hype for the next episode. And then episode 5, called Night, contrasting with episode 4's Day. It just picks right up. Osha wakes up, sees one of the Jedi is dead, and then sees that the battle is ongoing, and Teethies is just wiping dude out, man, just taking him out. He seems to have this gauntlet on his left hand, or not a gauntlet, because it's not the full hand, but
it's a metal. It's called cortosis.
Oh, okay. So is this previously existing canon, or is this a new thing that's been thrown out?
I don't know. But probably.
I'm curious where this word is coming from.
Star Wars. They posted it as part of their
So the Twitter account posted it.
Well, no, I believe it's a part of the trivia. But so it says with the specialized cortosis gauntlet,
right. It's a big gauntlet
and mask permanently twisted in a frightful grin, the stranger and the red-bladed lightsaber appears as if out of thin air. But yeah, that is that's what it's called, cortosis. So I wonder, it's probably within the same vein of metal as Beskar.
Sure. Except for it has additional property, which is it seems to disable any lightsaber
it extinguishes
that hits it, which is such a cool effect.
Yeah, and it's momentarily, but it's just it's got some weird reaction. Mm-hmm. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, you pretty much just see the lightsaber sputter out, and then it will sputter back on after a moment.
And in Jackie's case, it shattered.
Yeah, exploded in a big bit of light.
Lightsaber shards.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of really cool hand-to-hand combat stuff in this episode.
And the thick lightsaber hilts.
Oh, and also his helmet. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Also,
it's his helmet as well.
Both hit the helmet
and the gauntlet.
And it's a gauntlet. I feel like it's an entire glove thing, right? I said gauntlet like I hadn't already said it. There's another term for something that's just like a bracelet, but I can't think of what it's called.
Like a wrist guard.
Yeah, I guess that's a good that's put simply. Yeah.
We did make a joke because he's wearing a little tank top. Oh my gosh, should I actually bring out the little pantsuit I own? It literally looks like his outfit.
Well, I don't know if it'll do much for our podcast.
I'll show you after. I'll read it after. But I looked at it and I went, I have a jumpsuit that looks like what he's wearing. But when we see him, he's wearing the cloak and his arms are bare. So I did make the joke. I'm like, oh gosh, what if he's just like naked under there?
Very good.
Like, that's the worst outcome.
When you're fighting a Sith, you can feel more comfortable by imagining him naked. Oh no, he's hot.
Oh.
So Teethies has a lot of really baller moves in this fight. One of the coldest is he stabs one of the Jedi and then force pulls another Jedi onto the blade and makes him into a Jedi kebab. It is.
Excuse?
Woo! It is a lot. It is so cool. Oh, and then
it's kind of. It reminds me of in Rise of Skywalker, which is not one we talk about all the time. And Athena is yelling. I don't know if you can hear her. What? Yeah.
And I don't think we caught this because it's very fast and it's only implied, but real fast. Just watch. So he's just shish kebabbed him, and watch what he does next.
Oh,
he decapitates at least one of them. You can't see it because it's blocked by a tree, but it's implied that he doesn't decapitate at least one of them, if not both.
It reminds me of the beginning of it kind of feels like on the same level in Rise of Skywalker when Kylo Ren is killing the cultists on Mustafar, and he stabs one with the hilt, and like lifts him up. Yeah, it's got some brutality to it.
Yes, there are moments of Kylo Ren being a very brutal fighter.
Oh, he did. I also did. I was like, what if it's Kylo Ren?
Well, there were people theorizing that this is the original Knight of Ren, which does not seem to be true after having. But that would have been cool.
I'm curious if he's Plagueis.
If
he'll eventually become Plagueis.
So, canonic. At least I don't know what. I have no idea what is. I have no idea what is new canon and what is not. But originally, he was a particular alien species.
Oh, you're right.
Plagueis.
Yeah, because there's a book.
Now, that's what I assume. But also, like, you never know if someone's just severely dismembered.
Maybe he knows
disfigured.
Plagueis. Maybe he's actually.
I would be really shocked if we don't get any reference to Plagueis by the end of the show.
Oh no, he's hot.
But so then May goes in and gets Kanaka's lightsaber, which I don't think actually pays off in the rest of the episode. I don't think we actually ever see her use it, right?
Does she pick it up at the end, or is it someone else's random lightsaber?
No, she picks up Kanaka's very early.
Yeah, I mean,
episode.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe she dropped it. She got kind of thrown around a lot.
That's true. I also, even though they're wearing very different clothes, I constantly get May and Osha mixed up. So I thought it was Osha picking up the lightsaber. It was definitely May.
Excuse me.
There's a bit where May is running through the forest and Teethies throws his lightsaber and it's spinning around, which...
That was Osha running through the... Wait.
Did I say May? I meant to say Osha.
Yes, it was Osha.
It was Osha. Osha's running and Teethies throws the lightsaber and it's spinning, which is... The throwing of the lightsaber is significantly more like a video game.
What an arm on that kid.
So it's always cool when we get to see it in live action because the throwing of the lightsaber is like, if you play a lot of video games, it feels like it's very fundamental to Jedi conflict, but we don't see it a ton in the movies. And normally it's very fast, but the fact that she's like being chased down by it is very freaky. This kind of continues to add to the horror element of this episode. You're going to say something about that?
No, yeah, I was just correcting you because it's Osha, not me.
And it very nearly gets her, and Soul kind of pops out of nowhere and deflects it back, and it chops down a few trees, and we just get more fighting. And the fighting is great, and I feel like the next major thing is that. Now what is this young lady's? I'm so bad with this. Too many proper nouns in Star Wars.
Who?
Jecki. Soul's apprentice Jecki has a hand-to-hand combat fight with May.
She's trying to arrest her.
She's trying to like put.
Cuffs on her.
I definitely thought they were going to get cuffed together, which
this is our
would have been fun.
This is our get along shirt.
I think that would have been actually interesting, but it didn't happen, so whatever. But I've now lost where the heck that I had.
But she manages to cuff May, and then the stranger shows up, and he starts fighting with Jackie, and he actually...
Excuse you, his name is Darth Teethies.
Darth Teethies, okay, sorry.
They don't call him the stranger.
That's his title, because we haven't said who he is yet.
His name is Darth Teethies. Anyway.
So the stranger shows up and starts fighting with Jackie because his target is May as well. That's made very clear. He's trying to kill her. Because I think he says you were going to, but no, we find that out a little bit later. I don't know. Anyways, he starts fighting with Jackie, and he disables one of her lightsabers, and it turns out she has a second one, so she's a dual wielder, which is pretty cool. And she holds her own fairly well against this guy.
I mean, for Apprentice against this guy who is just savage.
Yeah.
Yord, actually, in one of the more interesting, probably the most interesting moment we have for Yord as a character is
Lord Yord?
Lord Yord. Yordy. Describes...
Yord Truck Month. Should I tweet that with no context? Yord Truck Month.
No context Star Wars tweets. He says that he's unpredictable, that he doesn't have any sort of... He doesn't follow the rules of engagement. He gets in your head and stays there, which is just very eerie.
So I have something interesting. So Manny Jacinto, who plays... Well, I can't say that yet because we haven't gotten
Well,
to that
let's
part
go ahead
yet.
and just give it away so it's easier to talk about.
All right, so the stranger is Chimere, which
Yeah.
is something we guessed. So
And
it's
everyone guessed last week. I was hoping it wasn't, but, it is. And honestly, okay, so we'll quickly talk about this. So in case you're like me and proper nouns don't stick in your head, Chimere was the
guy
other
who was
guy
helping May.
who was traveling around with May and was just kind of there, wasn't really doing much, and we kept making fun of him for being very similar to Rachel's sworn nemesis,
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
See, Ezra Miller is to me as Barry Keoghan is to Cameron.
Yes.
But so here's the thing: Manny Jacinto, who plays Chimere, and the stranger did an interview with Entertainment Weekly, and so he said, as quote, "We wanted a character that was not just oppressive and powerful, but when you see him, you feel disturbed by him. We wanted a character that isn't just a Darth Vader type of guy who overpowers the screen. It's the concept of the uncanny. It can be a stumble in a person's walk or a twitch in someone's eye. It's very subtle, and it's like this. It is just like this uncomfortableness that people experience. And that's what we wanted to hone in on for this Sith Lord. I think they nailed it. He's so creepy."
And what I was going to say is we made fun of this character a lot. The performance drastically shifts.
Yeah.
It makes all the stuff he was doing previously very strange. I hope that there's some sort of scene that we get an explanation for why
very manipulative.
he was doing what he was doing. But nonetheless, if you just ignore that, I think this ultimately people. I think when
I think
people
he's just toying with me.
it's possible. It's possible. I think ultimately this show's going to come down to people are just going to say ignore the first 4 episodes. I think it's what I'm hoping that the latter half of this show ends up being the very much stronger half, and so far that's what it is. And so if you're just looking at this episode alone, which I think you almost definitely can, the performance is very strong. He feels like an original character. He's not too much like any Sith Lord in big quotes. We don't know exactly what he is yet.
Yeah.
He claims to be Sith, but whether he
He
quick
could.
aside, we don't know yet. People keep complaining about the whole episode 1
Rule of 2
The Jedi, the
and-
Sith have. We have not seen the rule of 2 broken yet, so we don't know that part. But just like people complaining about how the Jedi did not think that the Sith had returned at all.
Well, and the thing is that Qui-Gon fought Maul.
Yeah,
Or no, he fought Maul on Tatooine.
Yeah.
And he immediately goes to the Jedi Council and he's like, "I think I just fought a Sith." And they immediately went, "No, you didn't."
yeah.
Like a very trusted Jedi. A very Was he a Jedi Master? Or
Qui-Gon?
yeah.
Yeah, he was a master. He
Okay.
had an apprentice.
You're right. But so a very trusted, very devout Jedi. And 5 minutes after he is saying, I have fought someone who I think is a Sith, immediately they're just, no, you didn't. No, it's not possible. And it's just, it showcases the arrogance of the Jedi. Everyone's like, well, if they had known it's not, they're arrogant. They're refusing to believe the potential of a Sith. It's not that they're just like, oh, well, we didn't know. They're willfully blind.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different things that you could, and I think we will not know the answer to this question until the end of the show of how this relates to how the Jedi felt in episode 1. But a couple possible thoughts come to my mind whenever he says that he is Sith. One, he is like a Sith, not the Sith.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there is kind of a brand, there are lots of dark side users out there who might even claim to be the Sith.
And we said the Inquisitors were not Sith.
Exactly. Yeah.
They were dark side users, but they were not.
And they even had red lightsabers.
You are a dark side user, but we not grant you the rank of Sith.
Because also, he doesn't formally identify as Sith, though he probably is. What he says is, I don't have a name, but you would call me Sith. So that might just be him saying the Jedi see anyone who's not them as the Sith.
And he also might, because it's like, oh, is he a Sith Lord? Someone said he may not be a Sith, but he may be a Padawan. He might be a Sith acolyte of himself, or an acolyte himself who's acting out against his own master. We haven't seen that before.
Absolutely. And that would be, honestly, the idea of an acolyte wanting an acolyte, and we finally get that name drop here. He says that he wants an acolyte. Like,
that's what all Sith, they're all trying to one up their own master and train someone the way they want to train.
So, yeah, we don't know what this guy is. He could just be off-brand
He's just a dude.
But also, like, if he ends up dying, even if he was true Sith, I can imagine the Jedi kind of like their self-delusion of being like, well, the Sith didn't return.
Yeah, it was just one guy.
One off disgruntled Force user who claimed to be the Sith is not a return of the Sith.
Yeah, he's just this weird guy. I'm gonna sneeze.
Okay, I'll mark down the time code.
Maybe.
Well, if you don't actually sneeze, I'm just gonna leave it in.
I felt it. I felt the itch in my nose. Okay.
Anyways.
Well, let's keep talking because then I'll definitely sneeze if I'm in the middle of a sentence.
So before we actually do truly get the reveal,
Paul Revere.
I'm still gonna call him until otherwise. I'm calling him Darth Teethies because we don't even know if Kymir is his name. So here. Okay, quick note backwards. I mentioned that I wasn't sure where it paid off with Kanaka's lightsaber when. Okay, this makes so much more sense.
Is that the second lightsaber Jackie had?
That's the second lightsaber that Jackie had. How did we both miss that? That's crazy. So that's
Star Wars when they don't show every single thing happening on the screen and we don't know what's going on.
It is on screen.
I'm kidding.
It's on screen. We just totally missed it.
We were just watching May get beat up.
Yeah, really, and enjoying it.
So the stranger shows back up. He does his monologue. So there's a really interesting chase. He's trying to kill May, and Sol and Jecki are trying to stop him. But they're not trying to kill May. They're just trying to arrest her. So it's this interesting. And you'd brought it up. Just it's an interesting sequence. Okay,
so I'm gonna recount what I just said. She has 2 green lightsabers. Wait. For some reason, I'm assuming that Konaka had a blue lightsaber. I don't know why I'm assuming that.
Do you know what assumptions do?
They make me a good Star Wars fan. I'm trying to watch this real fast to figure out whether... Okay, no, it is Konaka's blade because it's really, really... That's why it's so big.
Oh, that makes sense.
Remember we commented on why it looks so big in her hands?
Because he's a big man.
A Wookiee. Okay.
That's impressive, wielding such a large...
We make fun of other people for their lack of media literacy, and we can't even pick up on where this lightsaber
I was scrolling on Twitter while Karen was saying, I just said media literacy is dead.
And we are just as guilty. So, I'm sorry, I totally interrupted you. What were you saying?
I was talking about the sequence where the stranger's trying to kill May, and Sol and Jecki are trying to stop him. Yord and Osha.
So it's a little down the path. We're not quite there yet.
I don't know. I can't see the screen camera.
Well, because we haven't. So it's while. So
okay, I was just about to say that because Yord and Osha are he's trying to get Osha back to the ship because Osha's a civilian.
Oh no, never mind. I skipped it happens really quickly. No, you are right. You are correct. That is where we are. Is that Osha's trying to get back to the ship.
Cameron
And is this
correcting
where
women.
Is this where Yord dies?
No, spoilers. No, spoilers. So Osha and Yord are trying to get back, and Osha is really saying like, we need to go back and help them, and Yord's like, no, we don't need to help them. And so and I think she's like, I'm going back whether you help me or not. And they're in that part of the forest that we saw in the last episode where there's the Mothy boys.
Yeah.
And they're attracted light, so she turns on her lights or her flashlight and starts running the other direction to attract them. And so they get back, and then it's all three of Yord gets there first.
Yes.
I don't know how he beat Osha. Maybe he was. Maybe he's just faster.
The elusive force sprint.
Yeah, the elusive force sprint. So he gets there first.
So I just want to call out real fast is another cold move that Darth Teethies has. He grabs Soul's arm and then with the helmet on headbutt Soul's lightsaber, which disables it.
Yeah.
Which is just this like the way this character This is the benefit of a show like this focusing on like a martial arts style because with that comes a lot of physicality, and there's such a strong physicality to this villain.
Well, and we also see how the Jedi fight by rules that almost actually do them in, versus he's just fighting dirty and he's winning. And so Yord shows up, and I think they distract him. And Yord, I can't remember what exactly happens. He manages to grab Yord. Sorry, there's a lot of fighting that goes on.
Well, first is before Yord gets there, actually.
Yeah, I forgot that happened. Does it happen first?
Yes.
Jackie.
While Soul's lightsaber is disabled, Jackie steps in and fights him one-on-one. Darth Teethies actually manages to knock the helmet off, and this results in another cold move by him where it turns out he can like unclick the bottom half of his lightsaber and it turns into a smaller lightsaber, which is...
And he stabs her 3 times right in the middle of her torso, on the side, and then like through her sternum. And it's boom, boom, boom. It's immediate. It's just like, oh my gosh. And his saber is in front of his face, and then he lowers it, and it's revealed that it's Chimere, or that's the name he's going by.
Given by. And
his soul.
This is the moment you really see the change in his performance of just, you can tell this actor is actually doing a lot to make this persona different from the Chimere persona. And I didn't love Jackie as a character. I didn't find her that
really
engaging.
liked her.
But like the death, because she's a kid, and she was like the only person outside of Soul who showed some kindness to Osha. It's very, very sad that she just died and how suddenly it is.
And Soul is just devastated by it.
Yeah.
And he's just like, there's kind of a funny interaction with him and Chimere, because he goes, she was a child, and Chimere goes, you brought her here. which is like, okay, maybe correct. I think that's when Yord and Osha show up, or Yord shows up.
So May comes in and now this is actually one of the worst parts of the episode. So what he does, Darth Teethies here, Osha shows up, and he wants to go after Osha. So in order to...
May.
Sorry, May. It's May. I apologize.
We have friends who are identical twins. I hope you're not listening to this.
They are not literally the same person, though. These are the same This is the same actor playing 2 different characters. I am much better at
Maybe our friends are the same actor playing 2 different people.
Have
we seen them in the same room together?
For the season finale, we'll bring on our twin friends and see if the audience can tell their voices apart.
We're gonna ask them about their childhood and if one of them tried to burn the house down.
Darth Teethies quickly, not even that fast, at a modest, brisk pace, takes off his robe and just throws it at Soul. Which just blinds him and gives him enough, and gives Darth Teethies enough time to force pull May to himself. And it's just like...
and this is where he starts monologuing.
Yeah. And this is also where we fully get a real look at the guns on this guy. This guy,
He's ripped.
He's ripped, man.
I said cameras like they had to have Chimere wear super baggy clothes in the other episodes, or if not, we just would have taken it. We would notice him from his arms. That man is ripped.
And so then Darth Teethies here, he puts his lightsaber, unignited lightsaber, up to May's head.
Like a gun.
Which I find very frightening. And also it shows a lot about Soul as a character that he throws his lightsaber down in order to save May. That he's not willing to sacrifice a life, even a life he doesn't really care for.
He's better than me, for real.
For real.
I would have been a bad Jedi. I would have been like, do it, coward, you won't.
And so this is the part where he goes on about him wanting an acolyte, roll credits and all that. So this is when Yord shows up.
Oh yeah, and he jumps him, and
he just snaps his neck.
Yord manages to grab his head and immediately just kills him.
Henry Cavill's him. Henry Cavill Superman at the end of Man of Steel snaps.
I don't think I've ever seen Man of Steel outside of.
Well, it's not a good movie, but and he just throws his body.
Yeah,
wow.
he just tosses him away. No respect for the dead.
Oh Lord, Yord. Yord's gonna go meet the Lord.
Oh. Oh, Jackie wasn't there to see him become one with the Force.
Jackie would have loved all this death.
Rest in peace, Jackie. You would have loved this.
So then we get just a phenomenal hand-to-hand fight between Soul and Darth Teethies.
Oh, because he's like, you attack someone unarmed, and it's like, this actually frustrated me, and not frustrated me because it's like an okay frustration because it's part of the show. Yeah. But I feel like this is just where we so much see. I don't want to say how strangled or bound by rules that Jedi are.
Yeah.
But like this person is like exactly he had an opportunity to kill Chimere, and Osha tells him to stop. And like I said, I'd be a terrible Jedi. But in my opinion, this guy is a threat, and I think it would be better to take him out while you can.
I would not consider someone with this level of force powers ever unarmed.
Yeah.
I don't think someone who can do these things is unarmed.
I think that's how we're seeing how blind the Jedi are to their dogma. They're like, oh, you're right. Look, I'm going to be dead honest. Who is going to be upset that you decided to take him out?
Yeah, 100%. Now, there is an argument, and this is definitely not why Osha is stopping him, but there's an argument of you kill this guy and you lose all connection to whoever he's working with or for. So you definitely...
Just like take off his arms.
Absolutely. Literally disarm him. Make
take
him
off his
disarm.
arms.
I legitimately think you disable him in something, because what Soul does here is I think it is, especially in line with Soul's character, to not actually murder him.
And it's not like a stun blast took him out. Osha tried that, and it didn't even work on him.
Mm-hmm. Is that Soul steps back and allows Chimere to rearm himself, which I think now if the implication I got from that, and if it's correct, it actually is interesting, is that he really wants to kill this guy,
and he wants to do it honorably.
Yeah, but dude, if you get a guy disarmed in actual combat, an actual enemy, if you get him disarmed and you kill him while he's disarmed, that's not the same as killing it. He's not unarmed. He's disarmed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's
difference.
Like you disarmed him and you had the ability to stop him, but then Osha grabs Pip's head off, her little robot, and she's like, I don't know if she says I love you or she says I'm sorry, but while Chimere is continuing to monologue, she takes the flash drive part of Pip. I don't know.
His head.
Yeah, it's his head. And which is the flashlight she was using, and she like stabs it into Chimere's back.
Yeah.
And the moths attack and carry him off.
Y'all got any lights?
Which is so funny.
Y'all got any lamps?
Lamp brother. So it was just really, that's where we were talking. And I said, because we have this y'all listeners know, we have this continuing list of characters who fall but aren't shown to be dead. So I think we have to start a new one of characters who ascend and aren't dead. There's an on-screen death, which is just so funny because he just gets taken away. I did say that 20 minutes, or not, but like 10 minutes before, I'm like, what if you get got? Imagine being like a Sith and you get got by moths.
Yeah.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
I'm thinking about how disgusting these creatures are.
They're so big.
It's fun to have a fight where you don't care who wins because you want to see at least one side lose. Like in a few moments after this, Darth Teethies survives, and you see like pieces of these moth
and he
things
floats
falling
down.
They're actually not really moths. They're more like
Beetles.
They're more like cockroaches or like really big roly-polies with wings.
Ooh, I did say
they're real
roly-poly
gross
the other day.
Anyways,
so
May uses the stun blast on Soul
because Soul's like, I'm going to tell you the truth of what happened that night because we still don't know, and she uses the stun on Soul. Osha chases after May, and then
there's a conversation. They have a talk.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Well, they didn't really.
Oh, before they leave?
Yeah, here they have a talk, and this is where they each try to convince the other one that they're brainwashed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it was in a slightly different location because she goes up to May.
Okay. Well, they have a talk. They each try to convince the other one that they're brainwashed, pretty much.
Also, May is doing some serious love bombing.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're not sure what that term is, that is it's an abusive tactic.
Yeah.
To try to get someone to your side after you have harmed them, whether it's narcissism or whatever. Like you are love bombing them to try to manipulate them back into loving you. And I mean, granted, you could say, oh, she's been lied to. It really felt so manipulative because this whole time she's throwing back at Osha. Gosh, I'm turning into Cameron. She's throwing back at Osha like, well, look what they did to us, to the family. You remember who you are, Mufasa Lion King kind of style. And Osha is like, that was you. You were the one who tried to kill me.
And this is the difficulty with this being a show is in a movie, I'm always very happy to wait until the end of the film when I have all the information to really make judgments. With a show, it's hard not to draw conclusions. And I know that the show is really trying to put us in the shoes of Osha. That we've seen only what Osha has seen, so we understand why she believes what she believes. Obviously, there's like a rug pull coming. But the show is broadcasting it to me. I think like that would have been maybe a nice twist of, oh, there is more to the story. Or maybe that's going to be the twist that there's not. It could very well, what I said last episode, and it seems a little more likely this episode after seeing what Saul did with Darth Teethies, not killing him, is I think ultimately the big reveal is going to be just that they're the ones who killed the witches in a battle. And they feel bad about it, even though they shouldn't, because they're dark side users and they attacked them. But regardless, I think, hopefully it is going to be something like that.
Well, I think even after Osha decided she was gonna go with the Jedi, I almost have a feeling that the witches would not have allowed that.
Absolutely not.
They said you can choose your own path, your string of fate, however you want. I don't think like the mother the other mother who carried them would have had any intention of allowing Osha to go. And I think
Coral, I think was her name.
Yeah, something like that. I think she would have absolutely been down to just try and kill the Jedi.
Yeah,
she was already down 100%. For it. But so we see them, kind of yelling back. They're not yelling, but they're arguing back and forth with each other. And Osha makes the decision that she's going to she's going to arrest May and bring her back. And May shoots her with the stun to stop her. And
cuts off her own, gives herself a haircut.
Yes, and
in a very weird way. What she takes a lightsaber, ignites it very close to her own neck, and then just does this very dramatic head
also,
whip.
Burnt hair smells, and that smell doesn't go away.
And also, wouldn't it be very clear that the end of her hair was just recently singed off?
I know, But so she...
real fast, before we pass by it, there's a very obvious parallel to Anakin. May says to Osha, they turned you against me.
He turned you against
classic
me!
Anakin line.
Yeah.
Anyways, They both.
It really felt like a Twitter argument, and not like a bad. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it feels like watching two people argue on Twitter about the Jedi on Star. Like it. That's what it felt like. So she cuts her hair and then she swaps clothes with Osha.
Which seems like a very difficult process.
I did think that I would feel, I know they're twins, so they probably wear the same clothes. But she takes her clothing and assumes Osha's identity. She goes back to Soul.
And is she just hoping that Soul just doesn't notice the mark on her
head? I thought that too. I have a comment about that I'll get to.
I mean, the hair does a really good job of covering it up, but like all it takes is like one slight. That
was how they knew it wasn't her.
Yeah,
that was how they knew it wasn't Osha. Was the tattoo. And so she goes back with Soul and whatever.
And they just leave all the bodies. I don't know if there's another alternative, but it does feel weird that a Jedi would just leave all his brothers
especially his Padawan.
Behind.
He was devastated about her.
Yeah.
But so we do see a clip of Basil, who, I just don't like looking at him. He picked up Pip. I don't know if Pip's still alive or not.
Well, yeah, Pip's head that was attached to
Chimera, and he sniffs it and he walks back, and so we see Soul and May going back to the ship, and Basil follows, and he's sniffing because that's all he does, and he's sniffing out May as he follows along, and then he sniffs Pip. So, kind of the ideal that he's gonna know, but can he out her because the only person who knew how to speak his language was Yord, and Yord's dead. Mm-hmm. So maybe he'll just like home alone the ship and try to take her out, And then we have a scene where Chimera approaches Osha and he finds her. And he has a very interesting line coming up where he says,
"What extraordinary beings we are."
Yeah, he majored in philosophy or something. I don't know.
He force heals her.
Yeah, she was injured. I don't know where she was injured from.
I made fun of people for being really upset when they introduced the force healing in episode 9. I'm always fine with new force powers coming out of nowhere. Because different Jedi can do different things. And also, force healing has been a power in the other stuff for a long time. Though here, what would bother me is force healing should be, to me, a light side power. There are dark side powers and there are light side powers. And healing feels like it should be very squarely.
Tries to heal her and he accidentally shocks her. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
And it is a very minor wound that he barely heals, but it seems like a very unnecessary detail to me. But anyways, so he then goes on to say, in revelation of our triumph.
Even in the revelation of your triumph.
You see the depth of our despair.
So my thought is just kind of based on that statement.
And then he puts a robe on her.
Yeah.
Pretty gently and lovingly.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I still wouldn't trust him with my drink, but I took you a second, didn't it? My thing is, so he was he knew from the get-go when Osha tried to play as May in episode 2 that she was not her sister. I think it's very interesting that Chimera, this stranger, can immediately tell the difference between Osha and May, but Soul can't.
I think that's fair. My immediate reaction was that Soul has just been through a lot.
Well, there's distraught. That too. But
so I agree. We'll see. I mean, he could figure out within 2 minutes of the next episode.
I think also because saying, "Where is she?" and May going, "Who?" He's like, "Your sister."
Yeah.
She's like, "Duh." So maybe it'll be interesting because I don't know if Osha will try to play along as May, considering Chimera was trying to kill May the whole episode. Or maybe he's seen this as an opportunity of I can turn you too. And I feel like Soul, once you get May in the light, you're going to see she has a tattoo.
Yeah.
And it's like...
So here is what I am kind of anticipating for the next episode, which is exciting.
So you have 3 episodes left.
Yeah, for the next episode, I'm anticipating that it's mostly going to be a conversation between Darth Teethies and Osha and Soul and May.
Yep.
And you've now swapped apprentices, and each side is going to be somewhat pulled more towards what they did not already know or believe. which sounds great to me. Like, this has the potential to be some of the best dialogue in Star Wars. Because Star Wars, not known for its conversations, conversation of a...
I hate sand.
Yeah, Like, what is kind of... I mean, the immediate thing that comes to my mind for some of the strongest dialogue in Star Wars is the classic Darth Plagueis of Sidious talking about Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Is that when you get to actually hear characters talk about their viewpoint is interesting for Star Wars, because the viewpoint, that's the whole classic thing of from a certain point of view thing. Like that was originally a hand wave of a line of dialogue from Obi-Wan to explain, to retroactively explain why Obi-Wan never told Luke the truth.
I read from a certain point of view, which is very interesting, because you get a Yoda chapter, you get a chapter about the stormtrooper that was mind controlled by Obi-Wan and let him go, and they have cameras inside their helmets, and so they reviewed they reviewed the body cam footage, and they're like, "You let that Jedi go." And so it's very interesting. Outside of the 6 straight chapters of every single person who happened to exist in the in Mos Eisley Cantina,
but I think a lot of people have been very upset around the creators of the show talking about things not being so black and white. I think maybe they haven't described what they're trying to do very well. What if this show goes the way I'm currently thinking it is, which it totally couldn't, is not that the light side and the dark side are not what they're supposed to be, but it's that most characters do what they think is right from their perspective. Like, I would think if you go back to the early, something that I don't know much about at all is young Palpatine. I'd imagine young Palpatine started down his path because he thought it was the right thing to do. He probably did it to like defend.
Power corrupts.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the issue with the dark side. I think it's very obvious that May is doing what she thinks is right from her perspective. So I think that's what we're going to get this next episode, is we're going to see why Saul did what he did. And we're going to see why Kymir is the way he is. And we're going to get that people are drawn to the light and dark based on their circumstances to some extent. And I think that's interesting. I look forward to seeing it, because I think especially right now, best performance is the guy playing Kymir, and I want more
I
of
know.
him.
I don't. I look.
Whose name is Manny Jacinto.
So here's the
already
thing.
said, but
We've given some flack about the character of Kymir giving Ezra Miller vibes. Manny Jacinto is obviously not like that, but he's very good at playing a creep.
He's really weaponized it now that we know he's the villain, and he's made it a lot more less annoying and more actually threatening now. And the physicality of the character, because before he was very like hunched over and very Weasley. Now he's like standing up straight. He's got the guns out.
He's just ripped.
Guns out, guns out.
He's absolutely just
Kymir Summer,
ripped.
baby.
Oh no.
Kymir Bod Summer.
There's definitely going to be some like articles in the next couple months that are like how to get the Kymir look.
More Kymir. I'm excited. This episode was really good. The combat was great. Excited about the villain.
Also, I'm excited for Manny Jacinto, because he gets to not just have like a passing sidekick character.
Yes, absolutely.
Because he's very talented.
Very clearly, yes. So I'm excited to see how Soul ends up dead.
Oh no!
And probably May and Osha too.
Yeah, everyone's probably gonna end up. And maybe Kymir too.
Most likely.
If they just Rogue One it.
I think the ultimate end of this show is like Osha kills. No, here's what I would be the ultimate end. It's like a chain of murder. May kills Soul. Osha kills May.
I think one of the sisters is gonna have to kill one of the other.
Yeah.
I hope
Kymir
so.
kills
not in a weird
Osha,
way, but like,
and then Kymir goes back to his master, has failed, and his master kills him.
You know, that would be interesting. We show up and it's like it's Palpatine or something.
We call this the Clinton move. You just wipe out everyone, all the witnesses, and no one knows what happened.
Actually, the Boeing move, really.
yeah. Cool. So excited. I think this show is showing a lot of promise. Finally,
I would like to have by 3D modeled Darth Teethies helmet for Athena.
That would be frightening.
She's back there.
Whoa.
She also she's kind of scary at night too. She doesn't float, but sometimes she jumps up on the bed and I don't realize it, and I'm looking at my phone and she just materializes out of the darkness and I see her eyes. She's scary.
We failed to talk about one of the best shots of the episode. Which
oh my gosh, you're right.
I
was gonna talk about it, but then you distracted me with where Yord and Osha were.
Apologize. Darth Teethies is chasing down May.
Yeah.
And it's a close-up on his helmet.
Extreme close-up.
And it's like anchored onto his helmet, and he seems to be doing the floating, again. Like there's not a lot. Like you can't really see that. It doesn't seem like he's running. Like the camera's not bobbing up and down. His head is not bobbing up and down.
He's in creative mode.
So it's just more of the floating, and it was so eerie,
creepy,
so good. Oh,
he's like,
love this character.
He's like, you were going to betray me, and you see like the red light of his lightsaber. Yeah, super creepy.
All for it. Oh, also one of the writers on episode 5's name is Cameron. Cameron Squires.
What a nerd.
What a nerd. Absolutely.
Is he a squire?
He was also...
that name
I don't know if
sounds
it's a he
super
or a
familiar.
she. Because it is a unisex
What else have
name.
they done?
Wrote on show Final Space.
I've never seen that.
Fun cartoon. WandaVision.
Oh, that might be
show.
where I recognized.
And a cartoon called Agent Elvis, which I've heard of. It's on Netflix. So, cool. Camerons unite. Anyways... on to Meme Minute.
I have 20 memes.
20 memes. Good Lord, woman. Last week you were like, I've got a lot. I've got 13.
Good Yord woman.
Good Yord woman. I think we might need to start doing a cap on these.
How many you got, bestie?
No, actually, to be fair though, I have quite a few videos, so we'll balance out.
Okay.
How many videos do you have?
I got none.
None videos. Okay.
None videos.
Well, then I will do a video. Then you can do
none videos left. Meme. Darth Teethies is staring at me from the floor.
Darth Pausies. Darth
L Pausies.
Shoot. Okay.
Darth Bald Spot. Really.
Wow. Just one of your best friends. You just totally...
She's got multiple. She's got one on her belly. She's got that one on her leg. She's actually got a second one on her leg, but it looks like it's growing back. And I noticed she itched some fur out of her ear. Stop that.
Oh yeah, I've got 10 videos. So that I've got 11 images and 10 videos. That evens out. Okay.
Did you
first
make a video?
I did not make a video. I'm very much considering it. This would have been a good week to do it. So I wish I would have thought about that. Maybe I should just save these videos so I can make a video. Oh. See, the issue is it's really easy to tell who made the video. I'd have to figure out how to crop them.
Fake a TikTok screenshot logo.
So this video goes way back to one of our earliest best moments of the podcast. Our good friend Alex Jones returns.
I would like to clarify, we are not good friends with Alex Jones.
Good friend.
It is right here. The Rancor, ladies and gentlemen, is racist. It is right here. The Rancor, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got a Lego.
Racist.
The Rancor, ladies and gentlemen, is racist.
Oh no. I don't like
no
that.
context. Alex Jones is best Alex Jones. And the fact that it's a Lego just continually. All right, what do you got next?
Well, I was trying to send you the memes, so you wouldn't yell at me for trying to do it. Me Googling transparent images, fake PNGs. And it's the end of Godzilla X Kong when Kong turns around and Shimu is charging him.
Oh, that's so good.
Shimu has a fake PNG.
But it's also very poorly cut out to begin with.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Big mood. Okay, what do we got next? I actually don't even know what this video is going to be. So we'll... Oh, yes. So this is famously... Scorch is one of the original Republic commandos, clone commandos from the video game. He's in Bad Batch, and he dies at the end of Bad Batch, and so
he falls.
Well, yeah, but okay, so
Is he dead? Were you gonna ask if he's dead?
I was gonna ask if he's okay.
Oh no, he is dead. He is not okay. He will never be okay because he is. Say it with me, dead.
and the person speaking is the Bad Batch writers.
American Dad meme. That's vintage.
Yeah, and just for the visual, Scorch is Santa Claus laying on the ground with bullets in his back.
20 bullets in his back.
He is. Say it with me now. Dead. What else you got?
very self-explanatory. I just got a kick out of this image. It's just original Godzilla with the sand cat.
Wow, that caught me off guard. Whoa. Because it's like 90% normal image. Because it's black and white, it doesn't immediately jump out. Wow, that's weird. Woo, that caught me off guard. Love that. That's a good reaction image. Save that one. That's a keeper. This video is like the scalpers showing up to Lego after finding out their $250 Captain Rex figures are now worth $8.
He's wired in. Sorry? He's wired in. Is he? Yes.
So
See, that's how I felt. So Hasbro re-released the season 1 figures of Bad Batch Hunter and Bad Batch Crosshair, which were selling for like $60 if you were not a scalper.
Yeah.
And then like $150 for like unboxed too. Some of these people, I'm like, you guys are sick. And then Hasbro just re-released them. So I know they had the same. I think I texted you about it. I know they were upset that now everyone can just reorder it. Actually, they sold out in like 5 minutes, but I got my pre-order in. I told my coworkers, if you ever see a private appointment during lunch at 12 o'clock, it's my reminder to submit a pre-order.
So the clip is Andrew Garfield at the end of The Social Network showing up and grabbing Mark Zuckerberg's laptop and smashing it. And it's a very visual meme, so I wasn't originally going to include it. And how they've edited it is instead of a laptop, it's a big
Venator.
Star Destroyer Lego. And he picks up and breaks it, but the sound effect
It's
of
the
just the
Lego.
normal Lego is very anticlimactic. I found that very funny.
Along with the Luigi's Mansion music.
Oh, is that what that is?
what that
I would have
is.
never known that. What do you got next?
There are 2 sides to Godzilla. Hee big lizard. This creature is all our fault. It's different examples of
That's
Godzilla
very good.
with Happy Wojak and Withered Wojak.
So true, though. This lizard is all of our fault.
This creature is all our fault.
Me throwing a full cup of loose change out the window at the pickup truck that's been tailgating me for over 8 miles.
I saw this one!
It's the scene where Sebulba throws the bomb into the thing behind him, the pod race.
That's gonna be
Pod
me
racer.
if the one Cybertruck in town follows me.
I misread the she wants food. I misread the caption. It's me throwing a full cup of loose change out the window at the pickup truck that's been tailgating me going over 8 miles per hour, over the speed limit. Just the idea of just throwing a full thing of change out the window is so funny. With the visual of the pod racer exploding. So perfect. Love it. What else you got?
It's just visual, no words. It is.
That's really good. I like that a lot.
It is the meme of Homer Simpson fading into the sliding back
hedge.
into the hedge.
Yeah.
And the Megatron helmet and gun is on him, and then when he's fully in it, it's that scene from the 1984 movie when Unicron turns him into Galvatron, and then it's the next 2 scenes of him coming back out as Galvatron. It's funny.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And many sons, many sons.
It's Django and the clones.
I am one of them, and so are you.
And so are you as Boba.
Let's all praise the Lord.
Father Abraham. And I think that definitely is one of our crossover interests, I feel, as well as VeggieTales, because that was the VeggieTales version of that. Paw Grape. Shout out to Paw Grape, one of the best. Shout out to the vaguely Jewish character on VeggieTales.
I'm so sorry. It's just
Yeah,
so cute.
do we need to put her in her room so she's not too
First
distracting
of all,
to you?
this is her apartment. Okay. I dispense with. Here, you just want to read it.
Okay, so you have to remind me of who this guy's name is.
That's Alphatron. This is Dog of Wisdom.
Ah, jeez.
Alphatron. If you've seen that YouTube video, you're
Yeah,
cultured.
it's the dog of wisdom in the plane.
Wow.
The worst. So Alphatron says, I dispense wisdom. Megatron says, what is
That's
your wisdom?
Optimus, you psychopath.
Alphatron says, I dispense wisdom.
You said.
Oh, did I say
you
Megatron?
said
I always do that.
Megatron,
I
you
always do that.
psychopath. I'm revoking
Look,
your
my
Transformers
brain
card.
flips between two things. And once it gets to...
I'm revoking your Transformers.
Optimus Prime says, what is your wisdom? Alphatron says, being a Transformers fan is okay because it brings joy, fosters creativity, and connects with a community of like-minded enthusiasts. Enjoying what you love is a vital part of being yourself. Optimus Prime, that is good wisdom. Great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So this is a sound effect of R2-D2 and then another video immediately after it.
I've seen that. It's a cat.
That right now is a cat.
I saw that.
Doing the exact... That cat sounds like R2-D2
It's
screaming.
like the dog that sounds like the TIE fighter.
All right, what else you got?
Enjoying watching episode 4, Kiadi Mundi cameo, and it's the scene from The Office where I do not know who that
the
is.
short blonde girl. I don't remember.
She
her
appears
name.
behind Dwight and
Yeah.
startles him. I see you, Lord Teethies.
Yeah, we kind of had a similar reaction.
Lord Teethies got her teethies out right now.
So there's a video of a girl, and it says her dad went to. It's her. My dad went to my uncle's house to watch Revenge of the Sith, and I'm alone. I'm home alone. Me on my way to her uncle's house to watch Revenge of the Sith. So it's just a car driving really fast.
Taste.
Also, shout out to that song by I can't remember the name of the band now. One of my favorite bands. Can't remember them. They are Saint Motel. Shout out to Saint Motel.
This is a picture of Mari. Or Maury. I don't know. Unicron, when it comes to Galvatron and his minions, you are the father. It's a shock picture of Unicron.
That's bizarre.
Do you think it's bizarre?
So this is a clip from the trailer for Transformers 1. It's Optimus Prime and Megatron.
I showed this video like 3 weeks ago.
Are you sure? I don't remember.
Oh,
this.
I showed a more extensive one.
Yeah. Megatron
And I took
killing Optimus Prime.
And I took that personally. This is an edited image from one of the running Transformers comics right now.
So it's
Starscream.
Starscream and Scrappy Doo, and he just splats him between his hands.
The actual comic image is he does it to a human pilot, I believe.
Yikes.
Yeah, one of the recent the current comic is a little brutal.
Yeah, is that the one where Optimus Prime steps on
Steps
the
on
deer?
the deer. Look, I'm gonna be dead honest. That makes me so mad because as a hunter, I can't move my head too fast or they run away. But this 23-ton robot.
Everyone knows
Steps on one.
forest animals are attracted to kindly robots.
I also
we
think
all
it's
know
funny
this.
because I feel like if you step on a deer, so when you look at this, that deer got like stretched the length of his foot. I feel like if he was gonna step on a deer, it would just like squish like 90% of it, and first it's like it got cut in half and stretched. It's like when you stretch out an image of Photoshop.
All right, I've got 2 more videos. This is just a very funny behind the scenes clip from Phantom Menace.
Behind the seams.
Oh, just the bang and then an actual explosion. I think the bang seems a little unnecessary. That's good.
I love Foley artists.
We'll do it in post.
Inside Out meme. What island is that? Obsession with Star Wars prequels. That island from inside Riley's
Yeah.
brains.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the posters of all 3 prequels.
That's good. I like that. And to end out the videos, we've got the rare Kung Fu Panda meme.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Don't worry, Mr. Ping. He'll be back before you can say noodles.
That's the second movie.
It's such an incredible scene from the movie where the camera's very slowly pulling out.
Because the joke is she turns around and he just says noodles like immediately.
But it's a great scene from the character's so good, the music is so good, the camera's slowly pulling out, and in the actual movie he goes noodles, and it's so sad. But when you watch this video, you know it's gonna be something dumb. You know it's gonna be something stupid, and it is.
Hamburger.
It's the dumbest thing possible, but it still catches me off guard.
So good. Kung Fu Panda top tier meme.
Top tier. Okay. What do you got next?
So this is the meme of the guy with his girlfriend looking at the other woman. Very typical.
Uh-huh.
Then you have Palpatine and Maul looking at Dooku. And then you have Palpatine and Dooku looking at Anakin, and then Palpatine and Darth Vader looking at Luke.
That's very good.
So
that's very good. Very relevant to what we were talking about earlier. Okay, I'm on to my image memes now because I have 11 image memes like a normal human being. We're getting a little edgy with these memes this week.
Cameron.
I did. Okay, so it's the two witch leaders who were like in a relationship, and oh dang it, I can't remember character names. And Dara, the woman Jedi Master, and it says the myth of consensual sex. I consent. And Dara, I don't. Isn't there somebody you forgot to ask? What do you got?
This person tried to unlock your phone.
It's
Just
just
when you have a lock on your phone, it takes a photo. It's a
Godzilla looking
front-facing
directly into
photo
the
of
camera.
Godzilla.
Which Godzilla is that? Is that
That's legendary
XCOM?
Godzilla. Yeah, I think so. Or it's Legacy of Monsters. I can't tell.
This is a thumbnail from what is clearly a very terrible YouTube video, and it's two guys reacting to the episode 3 of the Acolyte, and it just says "Space lesbians?" ? And the caption is "This is their 9/11."
Nice. This is going to ruin the tour. What tour?
I don't.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I get it. Okay, you can
It's-
explain it if you want, but I do get it.
I just forgot his name.
Justin Timberlake.
got
a DUI.
Got a DUI and he got arrested by a young cop who didn't know. He's a rookie cop. He's like 6 months on the force. He didn't know who he was, and said that Justin Timberlake was like, "This is gonna ruin the tour" because he's on a world tour. And the cop was like, "What tour?" And it's the final scene in Rebels where Thrawn is wrapped up in the Purgle
That's good.
tendrils.
I like that.
Who's
Took me a
saying-
second to get the reference.
Who's
That's
saying
good.
this is going to ruin the tour in Ezra and Ezra fashion? What tour?
I like it. I like it a lot. Another screenshot of a YouTube video, like it's not the thumbnail itself exactly, but it's the title of the YouTube video, which is The Acolyte Episode 3. I'm done, and so is Star Wars. And then it's the teacher from Jimmy Neutron. This is the 7th week in a row you've said you were finished with Star Wars.
Is that Star Wars theory?
No, it's the Critical Drinker. But it's so like, how many times have these people said that they're done with Star Wars, and they wouldn't have a channel if they didn't continue to watch. Like it's every time there's a new thing. So I like that. Carl, this is no, it's not Carl. It's Shane. This is the 7th week in a row you brought Ultra Lord.
Is the cure to male loneliness very silly pictures of Godzilla? It's like
What an incredible format, first off. Like, what a great... It is the cure to male loneliness blank. And what a great... I love it. That's so good. This is a photograph of a Yoda in like a pawn shop wearing a cowboy hat, and it just says, "Tarnation, what in?"
Tarnation. That's wild.
Isn't that good? Isn't that such an obvious joke?
so
I've never heard that
funny.
joke before.
Oh, so good.
Love it. Oh, I zoomed. It's not much to say. I just zoomed in on the fan.
Darn.
And
I saw the whole thing.
yeah. What do you got?
Man, I can't think of what proper nouns are. The wooden horse meme.
Trojan
Historical-
horse.
Yeah, Trojan horse meme. Normal conversation. Me, my friends, Transformers. Very accurate.
Palpatine. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Lightning. Choke. Transference. Feckin' Wimdy. And it's Darth Teethies from the last episode when he pushed everyone. It's feckin' Wimdy. What do you got?
Me, wins lottery. Family members I've never met in my life. It's the picture of Scar King from Godzilla X Kong showing up with
good.
his army.
Okay, I want to fact check this meme real fast because it's only funny if it's true.
We don't fact check.
Hold on, just give me just a second. Did you just hit me? What? She's been playing with this the whole time. I didn't want to point it out because I thought it'd be a derailment. We're already derailed. Also, you can't derail Meat Minute. So, she's been playing with a tape measure the whole time.
Actually, Athena's been playing with it. There's some ASMR for y'all.
So, okay, hold on. I'm very close to confirming whether this is true or not.
Brother!
Okay, yes. Okay, so it does seem to be true. So it's a headline that says Dave Filoni reportedly behind creation of Leslie Headland's lesbian witch coven, and then it's Darth Vader, and he's labeled bigots who somehow think Dave Filoni is one of them. No. I love the fact that people constantly want to think that like whoever's in charge of that particular Star Wars thing is doing everything.
He's the
but
creative
it's a big
head
team,
of
exactly. So yeah, Filoni was probably very involved with a lot of the larger canonical implications
like
of this
I said,
show.
I have a theory that people were more accepting to the Witches of Dathomir because they wore skimpier clothes.
Yeah, and they weren't explicitly lesbians, at least. What do you got next?
The guy yelling with the small brain to the guy with the big brain who's unfazed.
Yep.
And it's from Godzilla X Kong with the monkey yelling at Godzilla or at Kong before he punches him.
So good. This one is just a bunch of different images of Soul, and it says, "A hug from this man would solve all my problems."
Relatable.
What do you got next?
Toho having Godzilla talk in Godzilla vs. Gigan and no other time. New Godzilla fans, classic Godzilla fans, and it's a scene from Emperor's New Groove where Yzma looks very confused at Kronk. She's like pointing, "I'm really confused," and then you have Kuzco. I almost said Zuko. Kuzco and Pacha also shrugging.
Yeah.
So they're the classic Godzilla
I need to read it
fans.
one more time because this is such a simple meme visually, but very convoluted when you try to describe it. Oh, I see. Yeah. That's good. I like it. So you've got Yord, and it says, "Good morning, smiling emoji. Everyone have a great day. Fist, fire, fire. Rising grind, prayer hands." What's her name? Jackie. Morning. Soul.
It's how they text each other.
Yeah, Soul. Good morning. Oh my gosh, my phone is very annoying. Good morning. Enjoy your day. God bless. And it's like flowers, and it's an image.
Oh, I love that.
Too bad he's probably gonna die.
Shut up.
Soul is gonna just become just a soul.
No.
De La Soul. Anyways, what?
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
It's the Porgs.
Which is the chant from episode 3.
Yeah. Specifically, Backlight episode 3.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you didn't know, so people obviously in their, like a Palpatine, in your anger, it seems you killed her. In your anger, it seems like you reviewed the wrong Acolyte. A bunch of people were review bombing the wrong Acolytes. There's
That's
other shows and
hysterical.
Movies called Acolyte.
So they're not even checking.
They're not checking at all.
That's
Like
hysterical.
you read the review, people leave, and it's clearly about Star Wars. And and
that's so funny. You can't even review bomb right.
it's the Bobby Hill meme putting up the thing on the paper saying you're reviewing the wrong Acolyte, and the adults like, if those kids could read, they'd be very upset.
So funny. You become what you feed your mind. An angry person eating something distasteful. Media, not Rebels. And the happy person, all 4 seasons of Rebels pasted on it.
Wow. That's something. I hope this email finds you well. How the email finds me, and it's just dead Kalnaka.
Oh no. I got my last one. How many do you have?
Last one.
Me and bro after our girls left us. Illustrated images of
Me and oh, and it's just two Godzillas sharing a cold one.
Yup.
So this the big I feel like it's a relevant joke for this, but I can't think of what it is. Just like we can't go 1 week without some sort of fandom breaking stupid controversy. In this last week, everyone was, quote, everyone, certain members of the fandom were super pissed that Ki-Adi-Mundi was in, which we did not actually mention.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we didn't mention that.
Ki-Adi-Mundi is very briefly in the beginning of episode 4 of The Acolyte. Very briefly. Previously, there was a very obscure piece of media that
trading card from 20 years ago
that gave his birth date. There was never a Disney canon. And also, like, different species live different amounts of time. Does not matter. It's very brief. I don't even know if he talks. And it's very brief if he does.
And it was before the Disney acquisition, so it's...
So they've changed his birth date to make it so that he's alive during the Acolyte.
He needed to be longer to have many wives.
And also, if you don't know who the Ki-Adi-Mundi is, yeah, most people probably do. You have to be a pretty deep Star. He's the one who said...
He's got 2 lines, basically.
He's got 3 famous lines. One, he's the one who actually says the Sith have been extinct for a millennia. Mm-hmm. He says, your thoughts dwell on your mother. Actually, there's 4. In episode 2, he says about Dooku, he's a political idealist, not a murderer. And in episode 3, he says, but what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? These guys literally 4 lines across 3 movies.
Yeah.
And so...
He has more scene getting pelted by bullets from his troopers than lines.
So fans were getting so pissed off about his birthday, the fact that he's alive in this movie. So it's the SpongeBob guy who ordered the pizza. And he said, how am I supposed to enjoy Star Wars with Ki-Adi-Mundi having a different birthday?
See, the funny thing... It's good. I've seen a couple of memes about... my coworker sent me one that it was a picture of Darth Vader and it said... I have altered Ki-Adi-Mundi's birthday. Pray that I do not alter it further. But I saw a comment because someone's like, but the cards said it. And someone's like, the cards also say Luke was 2 years older than Leia.
Oh, nice.
And like posted it and was like, obviously.
Yeah, stuff like that is rarely accurate.
It's called grasping
and, like,
straws.
He had a purple lightsaber. Because you don't see anyone's lightsaber in episode 1. And so everyone had a lightsaber color outside of the movie. He had a purple lightsaber and Mace Windu had a blue one. Like, stuff changes.
Yeah.
And it does not matter. They shift stuff around to be more convenient for the mainline stuff all the time.
Did you make the Wendy one?
Is that your official guess?
I don't know.
Did you send me yours?
Yes, I did.
It didn't show as an unread message. Me Googling transparent images, the fake PNGs is really funny. The 2 sides of to Godzilla is really good. Homer as Megatron is good. I dispense wisdom is good.
Or did you make the myth of consensual sex?
I forgot that we actually did already mention the Ki-Adi-Mundi cameo and with the
Ki-Adi-Mundi
meme. Yeah, Caddy. We used to call him Carrot Head when I was a kid.
I did see a comment that said, "What if Ki-Adi-Mundi is actually the stranger and the top of his head like deflates when you put a helmet on him?"
He just like puts his thumb back in his mouth and blows it back up.
Ugh, that makes me so uncomfortable.
Unicron, when it comes to Galvatron and his minions, you are the father. Yeah.
Drinker, this is the 7th week in a row where you said you were finished with Star Wars.
It's hard. These are all good. I'm going to guess you made the Rebels, Tor one?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not.
Dang.
Sorry.
Did you make the...
I did not. That was the Trojan horse meme.
How about... I had another guess. I don't even... did you make the wisdom?
I did not.
Wow. Man, I've been really bad recently. Did you make my other guess was, did you make the you become what you feed your mind?
I did not.
That would be very you, considering that it's Rebels. Me and bro after our girls.
I did not.
Wow. Did you make The Office?
I did not.
Wow, I am so far off. Did you make the fake PNGs one?
I did not.
Wow. He's gonna make me guess everyone.
I'm not making you guess every single one of them. You just keep asking.
Yeah. Tell me which one you made.
I made the male loneliness one.
Nice. Very good. That is one of the best memes we have had on here. It's really, really funny. It's really,
I'm very
funny.
proud of that one. I'll just show you the original. Because I saw it template and I was like,
Nicely done. Nicely done.
There's a couple here that I feel like you did. I know you didn't make the email one because I've seen that one.
Hope this email finds you well. Okay, so that drops me to 17 and 16. Ooh, I'm very close. I had the thought today, do we want to do like seasons? Because we're about around a year of doing the meme game. Like, do we want to like reset the score at a year? Up to you. Or we're going to just keep going. It's all the same to me. I thought it could be fun to reset.
I'm torn between Wemdy and consensual sex.
Oh, wow. In the podcast there. We're not
Are we clipping that for year two's best moment? It's out of context moments.
That was so good.
No, it can't be that one.
We just suddenly gasped.
Carl, this is the 7th week in a row. You don't use Snapchat, so it can't be Tarnation. What in? Is it Wemdy?
Is that your final guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the fucking
nice.
Windy one.
Yeah!
I had that thought, and I was like, I'm giving myself away because we make this joke in real life all the time.
I'm not gonna lie. It was actually the way that you color coded the text.
Oh, really?
That I went. That's a lot of effort.
Oh, I'm glad that high effort meme gives me away. I'm very willing to let that be my giveaway. Well, cool. Nicely done.
Is the cure to male?
Well, that ties us on wins.
Woo! Do you want to see the original cure to male loneliness?
Sure.
Is the cure to male loneliness pictures of very, very silly extinct Suedosukians. Anyways.
Oh, is that got the? Let me see. Can I see it real fast?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought there was an image in there that I had seen in a different meme, but it's not. Very good. I like it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this yet another Unhinged. You know, as the Acolyte gets more unhinged, I think our podcast is going to get more unhinged.
We've been unhinged. We're operating on one hinge at this point.
We are so far from the hinges, we don't even remember where they are. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. This podcast is a ton of fun to make. As always, thank you to Caleb Jacoby for our intro and outro music. Props to Rachel for our excellent artwork, which you promise me right now, next episode we'll have an updated logo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll send you a reminder.
Thank you.
But the artwork is great, and so is the Twitter account. I
Props to
assume I
Cameron
don't check
for running our Facebook. Cameron's a little spicier on the Facebook than I am on Twitter.
Props to
Maybe because I'm
Athena,
more afraid
our
of Twitter
editor.
sometimes.
Where is she?
She's
begging for food still, or is
No,
she?
she's sniffing
where's
your
the
bag.
cryptid?
She's
You
right-
better stay out of my bag.
Cameron, she's right by the black bag.
Well, I cannot see her from here.
Have you considered getting better posture?
Even if I stood up, I can barely see the end of her butt.
Can you see her? Look at
No, I have to stand up.
Look at her.
She's like rubbing her head against the strings of my drawstring
She's
bag.
like stinky.
Let us know if you're watching The Acolyte or anything else related to the pod. I feel like Caleb or Megan may have sent us a fun text
Leave
recently.
us a review if you can.
Yeah, no one ever does, so I've just stopped asking.
Thanks to our friend in Ireland, is it? Who keeps watching?
Whoa, yeah, I have no idea. Let's take a look to see if that's still the same. Analytics. Wait, we only had one download today, and that's down 75% from yesterday. Does that mean we had 1.75 downloads yesterday? How can 1 be 75% of a whole number? Anyways, Dublin, Ireland is still our top location. That's going to be tough to beat. This is Cameron and Rachel signing off saying, do you think Mon Mothma flies with her back to the sun? Is that why she's constantly like orbiting around light fixtures? Dumb podcast. Good night, everyone.
Good night.